So the USS Baton, which is a large ship, 850-ish foot long amphibious assault ship. It's kind of what the Marines use for to carry the helicopters and the Harriers. And this article came out by the BBC, and they talked to a captain here, Earl Earhart, I believe is how you pronounce it. He's a Marine Corps Harrier pilot. And up until this point, all the articles I've read is basically, Super Hornets taking down drones and some Israeli F-35s. But I guess this guy has shot down 7 Houthi drones in the Harrier, which is pretty amazing. We've kind of talked about it before. The Super Hornet has a very advanced radar. I'm pretty sure the Harrier still has the old mech radar, which is capable.
The 65, yeah, the APG 65, which Daniel, you've got some experience with, right? Wasn't that what they threw in the citations?
66, APG 66.
Okay,
yeah.
For Border Patrol?
Yeah, for CBP, yeah, Customs.
Yeah, so reading through the article, it says they basically modified a Harrier for basically air defense, but that kind of caught me a little off guard because the Harrier does have an air-to-air capability. It's the Marine jump jet, right? They want a fast jet that can get in closer with the troops, right? So the idea is this thing can operate in and out of non-runway type areas. Primarily, like I said, air to ground, but it does have air-to-air capability as well. So I don't know what mods they would have done to make it be able to shoot down these drones. And he talks about the risks associated with it. And we haven't mentioned it before. I haven't really thought about it, but as far as the size of the warheads on these things, I guess he's getting close enough, like when you shoot them, when they explode, that there's potential damage. So BBC is the only article I could find on Marines and Harriers shooting down drones. Couldn't find any other take on it, but I think that's outstanding. I mean, the guy, right? You kill 5, you're an ace. If we're counting, drone kills. What do you think, Mover?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're in weird. Okay, so what's the criteria? What's the criteria? Well, what's the criteria for an ace?
5 kills.
Air to air.
But do you have to kill somebody, or is it just something?
I think it's a man. It's like man. It's a man versus man competition in my mind. Your machine, you and your machine against him or her and her machine.
Right. So 7 unmanned.
I don't disagree.
Or woman, either or. We don't judge. Unpersoned aerial vehicle. Is that a kill for the purposes of, does this captain now get the missing man formation when he dies?
Well, so in the article, it doesn't refer him to an ace, but
Twitter does.
My social media consultant
Twitter
Mover says Twitter
has decided.
Twitter has decided he's an ace. But I mean, beyond we're kind of poking fun at him being an ace. I mean, good on him.
As we should.
Flying around in a Harrier with an APG 65, hunting down these things.
To lock one of those things up with that radar is impressive.
Right. I mean, I don't know what tactics they've flexed to. I don't know what kind of tipper he's getting. But I mean, is he putting a thing in a hover? I don't know how fast are these drones going, right? Because for a fast jet,
can you put it in a hover can you even do that?
I'm pretty sure they did it in True Lies. Saw it in True Lies.
Yeah.
So
well, True Lies, obviously that documentary. But he shot an AIM-9.
He did from a hover. But
with
I guess my point is, it's pretty amazing for that airplane with that radar, shoot down 7 of them. And then I always come full circle back to my point of, the 12, 13, 40, 50, 20th one is going to get through, man, and blow a hole in the side of your ship, right? That's what we're all worried about. But yeah, I guess these Marines are doing good work out there. It just talked about this one.
The one guy The one guy's got 7. How many do the others have?
Right, exactly. And I looked up his squadron. Was it VMA 241, I think? And I don't know I'm old, so I was like, maybe I know the front office types, but I'm older than them.
I know the boat skipper.
So I need to move up the chain now.
I know everybody. Yeah.
But like you said, Mover, there's probably a whole squadron of capable Marine Hornet pilot or Harrier pilots out there, and who knows what the actual tally is. If this guy, if the report's true, he's got seven kills. That's pretty amazing, and it's also telling in the not maybe the will, but the just the determination of the Houthis. Right? Let's just every day at 8 o'clock you're getting like 5, or whatever it is.
But that's how it was in Balad. I mean, they would have the mortars on the timers and launch them out, and they'd haul ass. They wouldn't hang around.
Yeah.
Now you figuring also with the Harrier, don't they have a lantern pod or some type of FLIR that one, they get bogey dope from the Aegis cruiser, and then with that using the radar and then the FLIR to find them. And I say this because we were with our radar in the citation in southern Arizona. We had a rash of ultralights coming across the border with dope. And we had to, you have to bring the notch down on the radar down to even find those things. And even that, most of those were self-kills. Those guys would either hit power lines.
Count it. Yeah. Wait a minute. Are you, Daniel, are you an ace? Are we talking to an...
Yeah. Do you get the missing man formation?
Yeah. And several things, because we'd get bogey dope from the radar, our controller. They said, we've got one of those two things, either bogey dope or we'd get a border patrol agent say like, hey, call on the radio saying, I just had an ultralight fly over me at night. He'd give us a location. We'd fly on down there, start looking for them with the FLIR and the radar. And then once we find them, all right, that's all we could do was pretty much follow them until they either, most of the time they crashed because they either ran out of fuel or they out of center of gravity, they'd burn enough fuel and they'd just get out of CG and they would just fly up, or they would try to do a maneuver of some sort, and the thing was already overgross, so they would fold the wings and hit the ground. Power lines. One guy actually fell out of, he was almost, good God, it was like 10,000 feet. He was up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And he ended up, he folded the wings up at that altitude. And
wow.
Yeah, it was just.
I think probably, I mean, just hearing that, brings up a good point. Probably helps these Marines out that this is over water, because over land with that older radar and a small, slow moving target, I mean, it's exponentially more challenging. But over water, probably get a decent picture. But
same with the FLIR. If you don't have the heating, the daytime heating and all that, that's a good point.
And what size, what size are these drones? Are they the same as our, Predators? Obviously knockoffs from China, but if they're the same size as that, that's a standard Lycoming, IO 320 or something. So that puts out a decent heat signature. And do we have surveillance on the spots where they're launching them from? You got some, Army special forces on the back there saying like, oh, here goes another one, and call it in and say, be looking here at this time. They'll be hitting the beach at this time, and there you go.
Yeah. It's scary times. Exciting
you're
times,
right.
I guess. But,
you're right, Gonk. That man, if they just throw a whole slew of them, how many can they stop before one gets through?
Right, and it's nothing is certain, right? It's almost a mathematical certainty. At some point, one's going to get through. Last week, Mover and I talked about the phalanx. Was the was the one that saved the ship, and I mean, you're talking inside of a mile there. That's no bueno.
It was metric, so we didn't understand how far it was, to be honest with you.
20 Mike, man. It ain't gonna be 10 miles.